In 1984, a letter arrived, typed in cold black font. It read, "We are the monsters with 21 faces." Then came the threats, the poison, and the entire country crippled by fear, while the monster vanished without leaving a single trace. It started in Japan, a quiet morning. A man named Katsuhisa Izaki, the president of Glico, one of Japan's biggest candy companies, was kidnapped outside his home. Forced into a van, held at gunpoint, locked inside the warehouse. Somehow, he escaped, but that wasn't the end. It was only the beginning, because just some days later, a letter arrived at Glico's headquarters. Typed in bold, blocky letters. No signature, no face, just a message. "We are the monsters with 21 faces." The letters kept coming, each one more brazen than the last. They threatened to poison candy on store shelves. They demanded millions in ransom. They mocked the police, calling them fools, saying they'd never catch them. The media scrambled. The public panicked. Supermarkets pulled candy off shelves, and Glico's stock plummeted. Other companies, Morinaga, Marudai, House Foods, received the same threats. But no fingerprints, no suspects, no arrests. Just the letters, cold, precise, signed the same way. "We are the monsters with 21 faces." The paper was thick, smooth, almost waxy. It had a strange chemical scent, not the smell of fresh ink, but something sharper, like plastic or industrial glue. The edges were cut perfectly straight, no jagged lines. The letters themselves, typed in cold black font, looked almost too precise, like they had been printed in a controlled environment, not just run off a home typewriter. And there were no fingerprints, none. None on the paper, none on the envelope, not even a smudge. The police were desperate. They set up massive task force, thousands of officers assigned to track the monster. Roadblocks, sting operations, surveillance teams everywhere. But it wasn't enough. The monster stayed one step ahead. Every time they thought they had the lead, a letter would arrive, mocking them. "Dear stupid police officers, you're wasting your time." So who are, or is, the monster? They weren't just sending letters, they were playing a game. The monster seemed to know the system, how to exploit Japan's corporate fear, how to manipulate the public. Some thought it was a gang, like a modern-day Robin Hood, stealing power from the rich. Others said it was a rogue faction of insiders, working within the system. A few whispered it was something even darker, a force sent to test Japan's strength, or to punish it. Investigators tried to piece it together, setting up massive task force and undercover officers to try to get a lead. But with every lead they got, it went cold. Every clue turned to dust. One detective later said, "It was like chasing a ghost. We'd get a tip, we'd follow it, and it would vanish. Like someone was erasing the trail behind us." The monsters seemed to know what they were doing before they did it. They mocked the police in their letters, and every time the investigators thought they were closing in, the monster slipped away. The deeper they dug, the more it felt like they weren't just hunting criminals. They were chasing shadows. The monster's letters stopped in 1985. Just silence. But the questions never did. Who were they? A gang of criminals? A rogue cell of insiders? Or something bigger, hidden in the shadows? Why did they choose Glico? Why candy companies, and not banks, or politicians, or the government itself? One factory worker remembered the fear. She said, "We were told not to open any packages. We wore gloves just to check inventory." I remember holding a box of Pocky and wondering, is this the one? Another recalled the day the first letter arrived. The paper wasn't just regular. It felt heavy, slick, almost like it had been treated. And the smell, it wasn't ink. It was sharp, like chemicals. I'll never forget it. One investigator swore the letter felt wrong, heavy, slick, like they had been laminated, but they weren't. He described running his fingers across the paper and feeling a faint static charge, like the air before a thunderstorm. And then there were the strange sightings. A black car parked near a Glico warehouse at midnight, engine running, but no one inside. A man in a dark suit seen slipping into a back alley, then vanishing. How did the monster avoid capture? No fingerprints, no DNA, no slips. Despite dozens of letters, packages, and clues. Could it have been more than one person, a network, a carefully orchestrated operation? Or was it something else entirely? So here's the part that still haunts investigators. The monster didn't just disappear. They walked away, untouched. Some believe they were never meant to be caught. That the monster had inside connections, not just with law enforcement, but with corporate executives, government officials, people with power. One theory? The monster wasn't a gang at all. It was a test, an experiment in fear. A retired journalist once said, "I spoke to an informant who hinted at something darker. He told me it wasn't about candy, it was about control." And the timing? The monster struck during Japan's economic boom, when corporations were flush with cash, when organized crime and political corruption blurred together. Was it a shakedown, a punishment, or a message from someone higher up telling the companies to play by their rules? Some even whisper that the monster was tied to covert government operations, a distraction to keep the public focused on candy shelves, while something much bigger unfolded in the background. Even the letters that are sent has some mystery behind it. Some believe the letters weren't just paper. They were engineered, made with special material to avoid fingerprints, absorb moisture, and resist wear. A subtle clue that whoever sent them had access to technology the public didn't. The case was closed in 1985. Officially, the monster with 21 faces was never found, never named, never changed. But the story never really ended. Even today, investigators revisit the case. They review old letters, re-examine timelines, try to piece together the clues they missed. Some claim the monster was connected to organized crime, a syndicate that dissolved quietly, its members fading back into society. Others believe the monster's leader was killed, silenced, or protected by someone far more powerful. Occasionally, rumors surface, a new letter, a whisper, a clue buried deep in an old file, but nothing confirmed. The trail has gone cold, but the questions are still waiting. The monster with 21 faces wasn't just a criminal group. It was a shadow in the system, a reminder that even in the world of order, control, and rules, some forces still operate in the dark. So who were they? A gang of thieves, an inside job, or something much, much bigger? If they were just criminals, why did they stop so suddenly? And if they were a message, who sent it, and who was it for? Drop your theory in the comments. So who or what do you think the monster with 21 faces really was? And what were they trying to tell us? If you love forbidden stories, unexplained mysteries, and hidden truths, subscribe for more, because sometimes the silence is the story.